Hi, and welcome back to Community Talk. My name is Christopher Sneed. I am directing a play at the Gaslight Theater. It's called Distracted. And today I have two of the actors from the show here with me, Courtney Skaggs and Riley Dennis. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
The show is about a couple of parents who are trying to find out what's wrong with their child. Lots of behavior issues, cussing, not listening, screaming, anger, lots of things that a lot of parents deal with their children. And although the show is billed as a show about ADHD, it's actually, I think, applies more to parenting in general. So it's a really strong and powerful show that opens March 1st and runs March 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th at the Gaslight Theater. So let's start with you, Courtney.
Okay.
Tell us about your character. Who are you playing in Distracted?
I am playing Mama. She is a mother in search of a desperate search to find out what is wrong with her child, why he's acting out, and is just doing everything and anything possible she can to help him. I think she's very witty, tries to bring a sense of humor to a not so humorous subject matter, and she might be, a little distracted herself. So.
What is it that you've learned by playing this character? Is there anything that you've learned playing Mama, either in parenting or maybe dealing with kids or?
Well, as a job, I'm a behavioral therapist at ATS Counseling here in town, and which basically means that I deal with children and teenagers mostly with behavioral problems. So it has, really taught me a lot more of, I think that experience has given me a way to have some insight into this because I'm not a parent, and that was a big struggle for me to get to like a vulnerable place like that, because I see it more so from the clinical side really than the parenting side. But
so reading through the script, all the words and phrases that were coming up were
yes, I already knew what they meant, which has been the greatest obstacle really for me, is in pulling back from my day job and becoming a very vulnerable character that I'd never played before.
Right.
So.
Well, and the audience should know that you came in this role actually late. You were cast in another role, and the lead actress had an accident, a prior accident, and broke her leg, and so you came in. How long was it after we started?
A month and a half, 6 weeks in, probably.
6 weeks in, and came in and took over a lead role with a character that's never off stage.
I'm very excited. No, I'm very excited. It's been a challenge, but I'm very excited.
You've done very well in rehearsals so far. So, what were you like as a child?
Oh goodness. As a young child, I was very good. I was very respectful, but as a teenager, I really relate to the character Natalie, played by Susanna Davidson. She's amazing. I relate more so to her in terms of me personally as a child. She is, depressed and defiant and, just trying to find herself in maybe all the wrong ways. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Susanna is also fairly new to the Gaslight Theater, and in addition to Susanna, and who's playing Natalie, the babysitter, we also have Tracy Houston, who's new to the Gaslight, and she's playing one of the neighbors, Vera. In addition to, in our set of newbies, we also have Riley Dennis, who this is his first play, his first acting gig, if you will. Riley, what made you decide to try acting? What was it that drew you into that?
Well, I wanted to do something that took me out of my comfort zone, and I have certainly accomplished that here. Every day you take me more and more out of my comfort zone, and I think every now and then I get to return the favor. Right. I forget about that as the director, that tables can turn quickly. And what do you do? What is your regular job? I work for a family company, a Dennis Plumbing Company. We do heat and air and plumbing. Been in Enid since 1948, and I do heat and air and plumbing work.
So a lot of people will probably recognize your green van.
Yes, the green van's running all over town,
That's
absolutely.
always all over the place in Enid.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the biggest surprise for you as a new actor? What's the thing that probably surprised you the most to learn about what's involved with acting?
I would say the difficulty involved in it, remembering your lines, remembering where you're supposed to be on stage, remembering the movements, the props. It's been far more difficult than I ever thought it would be.
Right.
People like Courtney make it look really easy, but it's not. It's a lot of work. It really is. And I think, you said something last night. You said, it was, I took it as a compliment. You said every night you make a different mistake.
That's the joy of live theater.
And I never make that same mistake the next night. So I'm getting there, I hope.
You've been doing a great job also as someone who's come in and never done this before. And I think it'll be great for the audience to see new faces on the stage and be able to see what you can bring to the theater that we haven't had before. So you've done a really good job. How's the experience overall been for you?
Oh, I've really had a good time. Everyone has been supportive, and I've met a lot of new people in it, and it's been a really good experience.
Good. Do you think you will be interested in continuing to do any more acting?
Absolutely, I think so. Definitely.
Good.
Definitely. I would suggest it to anyone, as a matter of fact. At least do one.
Really?
Definitely, yes.
Why?
Because it does take you out of your comfort zone if it's something that you've never done before, and it helps you to open up a little bit. You have to be very vulnerable on stage, which is really difficult for me. I think that's the hardest part. And it broadens your horizons to a greater degree.
Good. How has this acting experience been with you two getting to know each other and playing mom and dad? And neither one of you don't have any children either, do you?
No.
So you're both coming in playing the parent of a 9-year-old child. And how has that been for you, Courtney? How's that been?
It has been difficult for me in terms of the fact that I want it to be believable, and a believable performance and a raw performance, because it is such a subject matter that is so important to me. And so, but it's been a struggle to see it from a different perspective. And I think my job has been both a blessing and a curse, because a blessing more so in this case, because I see the other side also on a daily basis, and how much discord there is in the families of children with behavioral problems or any sort of mental health problems. So I think it's been interesting. It's really pushed me out of my comfort zone too, really. But I've really enjoyed it.
Good. Do you guys know any kids that have behavioral issues?
I know Courtney does.
Obviously, obviously.
I do. I have some friends who have a daughter that they had this same tug of war. They didn't want to medicate. They had professionals telling them to medicate. Teachers. It sort of played out like this play does. And in the end, they did decide to medicate. And in their case, it was very helpful. Yeah.
I think you bring up an interesting point, because this play deals with every avenue that people take when dealing with behavioral issues with their child. The diet, psychiatrists, medicine, allergies. I mean, it covers everything, or tries to, and it does a great job of not insulting any of those. And it covers the process mostly that parents become overwhelmed in that search to find out a way to help their child. And if you had a child in this case that was like Jesse, what do you think your first avenue would be? Without giving away what happens at the end of the play, what do you think you would do as a mom?
Well, anything I could, really, to help him. I think my first option would be to call a professional, talk to their teachers, see if these behaviors are happening at home, see what they recommend, if a different learning environment might help, because a lot of these issues are brought up at school, or more so identified by teachers. And I like that you brought up that it shows every perspective, because it really does. It gives you every option and every different, you know, from the parents to the teachers to the professionals to the social stigma, you know, with your neighbors and et cetera. So,
definitely. Well, the show, again, we should let you know that it does have some severe language, some language that is not in every show that we do at Gaslight, but we felt like we needed to leave it in order to show the severity of what the child is going through and what the parents are going through. And the show, speaking of Jesse, the 9-year-old son, he is played by Wyatt Wilson, who I don't think has had much experience on the stage, but he's done a really good job with his lines. And I'm happy to say that he had a great difficulty in using foul language, which he has to do. And so his parents must be raising him right. Riley, a parent question for you. What kind of parent do you think you'd be?
I think I'd be a good parent. I would want my kid to get into sports a lot. I did when I was a kid, and I think it's healthy. And but I think I would be. I think as far as they go into the diet and nutrition in this play, and I think for me that would be a big deal in my household, would be nutrition, because kids eat so much processed foods and sugar and things like that nowadays. And so I think I would probably be a little more stricter on nutrition than a lot of parents are out there.
That's true. Well, we're about to wrap up, and I want to make sure and get the dates out again. The show is called Distracted. Despite the topic, it is actually a comedy. There's a lot of funny moments in it, a lot of true moments in it. And the show starts March 1st and runs March 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th. You can call the Gaslight Theater at 234-2307. Or you can go to the website. Just Google Gaslight Theater. Tickets are $14 for adults and $7, I believe, for students. And remember that there is some strong language in it. And we hope to see you there. Come support our show. Thank you.
Lord, you take me daily by the hand as you lead me to your promised land.